Okay, any questions to start with? Yes, ma'am.
My Wi-Fi button where you swipe up and you click to turn it on, it won't turn on. It's just, and my Bluetooth doesn't work either. It never has. It just like rolls and rolls. So I don't know.
Is this on your phone or your?
My phone, sorry, yeah.
And what was the other piece of the Wi-Fi button and the Bluetooth?
Yes, Bluetooth.
Okay, any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
The calendar app, I would like it to keep reminding me before, let's see here, what would it be? If I have this event, let's say today, I put it in my calendar for 11:30, I get an alert 1 hour before, and all I'm getting is like a notification that just goes zip and it's gone, and if I didn't notice it, I'm not reminded enough. I know you can set 2 reminders, but I want it to keep reminding me until I tell it to stop. So I actually do the thing. So I don't know if you know anything about that. Thank you.
Okay, we'll check it. Anything else? Yes, Mary?
I got hacked and now I don't get NMUG invitations to the meeting.
Could you please say that again?
I got hacked
Yes.
and now I don't get any NMUG invitations to the meetings.
Okay, that's a one for George.
Can you repeat that?
I got hacked, as you might remember, and now I don't know about the meetings. I don't get anything else from NMUG.
We must have, you must be using a different email address or something. We have to get the right email address.
Phil?
In moving the cursor laterally on an iPad, sometimes when you enter a text into a field, it disappears to the right, the text. How can you go into that? How can you move the cursor on with the keyboard or something on an iPad?
Yes.
The easiest way to use the screen mirroring function to demonstrate photos on a smart TV.
Yes.
Mitch, I got on our website and I followed the instructions to subscribe to the calendar. Didn't seem to work for me. And what was popping up was board meetings on my calendar. And the Monday meetings showed up, but the regular meetings were not showing up, so I'd like to see how you do that. It used to be really easy.
Smartest question. Okay. Anything else? Yes.
How do you improve contrast in your iPad? I find that the background is very bright, and if I increase or decrease the color, so do the letters, so there isn't enough contrast. I've tried bold with bold. That seems to work to some extent, but not always.
Is this in accessibility?
Yes.
Okay. Most of these I don't know the answer to, but somebody here does. Okay. Wi-Fi button and Bluetooth not working on the iPhone.
Has it restarted?
And I did that too, yep, like 3 times. I did the network reset and it didn't work.
Did you do a reboot? A hard boot?
Would that mean like I'd have to?
Okay, a hard boot is to push the on-off button and the home button.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and hold it until
Yeah.
the little apple comes up. You tried that,
Yeah,
right?
I've done that several times.
So,
And I Googled it too, Google didn't help.
The only other thing I can think of is to delete your Wi-Fi and then put it back in again. Is that possible to do?
I don't know how to
No?
do that.
I mean, delete the,
That's part of it.
it'll just pop up automatically, right?
No, you can go, forget this network.
Pardon me?
You can go, well, you can go forget this network, but you usually can't do it if it's not showing, and that doesn't sound like, she can't.
So,
hit the
so the
button.
network is not showing?
Yeah, when you go to, like, there's 2 ways to get to the Wi-Fi. You swipe up, and then you press the button. It does not
Or
work.
did you go to settings?
Settings,
Yeah.
the other one, and it won't even let you put it on or off. It just is off, and you can't even turn it on.
Does it show the name of the network that you're trying to get
No, it
on?
doesn't even bring up any of that. It's the weirdest thing.
You have an actual, are you saying that this button,
Yeah, you're on screen.
button is off
Yep.
and it won't turn on?
So here's in the settings. It won't even let me
Wow,
turn it on at all.
the Wi-Fi is grayed out.
Yeah. I've never seen that happen.
Do you have like airplane mode on or something like
No.
that? No?
So,
Is it still under warranty?
this is a replacement phone, but still, I don't know about that.
You might want to call Apple Care, if you do it over the phone, or else you're gonna have to take a drive to go to a point.
It's really a
Yeah.
software issue.
Okay. Yeah.
That-
Very unusual problem.
Yeah.
Jerry, do you have a thought?
Well, in the Wi-Fi, under settings, there is an on-off button for Wi-Fi.
Right, it's grayed out. It won't even let me turn it on.
And the same thing for Bluetooth?
And the Bluetooth, it lets me turn it on, and it just, like when I try to connect to any, if I'm around Bluetooth, it just rolls and rolls and rolls, and then it never connects, and then it
It's
won't.
looking for it, yeah.
Yeah, and then it just like leaves it on, like it never lets me turn it off.
You try
Uh,
pairing?
Yes,
Yeah. it
go
just-
ahead.
No.
I just did a Google search on Wi-Fi grayed out iPhone 6, and there's a whole bunch of,
iPhone 7 Plus.
doesn't matter.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I would go into that, read that to see if there's anything that applies
Okay,
to your iPhone.
good idea.
But that's my first go-to whenever I get a thing that I don't understand.
Yeah, I've done the Google, and it told me to do a network reset, and I did that, and
I mean, this has questions like, what causes Wi-Fi to gray out?
okay.
Bluetooth just spinning. Sounds like words I just heard you talking about.
Yes, good idea.
Okay, so the search was Wi-Fi grayed out iPhone 6. And the only reason I got to that is because I started typing in Wi-Fi grayed out and it popped up.
Okay.
So,
Well, thank you. I'll try that.
Don?
Yeah, good question, maybe Marty knows. Suppose she called Apple Care, can they view your phone if you don't have a Wi-Fi connection?
No.
You just had the cellular connection, can they do a screen sharing with your phone?
I have no idea.
But I mean, they can screen share with your phone, for sure. I mean, I've done that.
You can screen share with phones?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I never heard of
I know that on Android, I used to be an Android, I'm kind of a newer iPhone, so, and I know they can do that when you're on the phone with them, not that they're hacking into your phone, but they're
Right.
going into your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they can do on computers.
But I don't know, if you didn't have Wi-Fi, I don't know if they can.
Never thought about that.
Sounds like a hardware issue though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or something with the iOS.
Reload the
it. You see it to refurbish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerry said you could reload, excuse me.
No.
Jerry said maybe you could reload the iOS, but you need to do it so that your check back as if you're doing, transferring to a new iPhone from an old iPhone or from somewhere else, so you make sure you're saving your data if you start over with a new iOS, so that your data will come down from iCloud or whatever.
How do you do that?
Plug it into iTunes, back up.
Yeah, you back it up into iTunes and then,
How would you reload that? I know you can update your operating system, but how would you reload the current operating
If you
system?
go into settings,
Ah,
if you go into settings, it gives you a place to clear your phone and then re-download the iOS. But I would check that out with somebody who knows. Yes.
One of the ways is to go to settings, general, reset, and reset network settings.
Yep, I've done that like 5 times.
Okay,
Okay.
that didn't work.
No.
Okay, I think we've explored as many thoughts as
Yeah.
possible here.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry we couldn't fix it for you.
It's okay.
Calendar app reminder notification. This is from Mitch. Marty, can you answer this question?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
The question was, he's not able to download, Mitch, was this you?
No,
No, it was me.
Oh, it was you, I'm sorry.
Yes.
What, say your question
I
again.
wanted more alarm instead of a
Oh,
notification.
more alarms. Oh, okay,
Man,
I'm
it just
sorry.
So,
That would be
comes and goes.
notifications, right?
right. Notifications, calendar.
Okay. And we are talking about calendar?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it gives you choices here, upcoming events, and you see where it says persistent there, would that be where to go?
Where is it?
So notifications, calendar,
Right,
upcoming events,
right,
allow notifications,
right,
and then you want banner style persistent,
okay.
means it doesn't go away. And
So you want-
sounds gives you sound instead of it just
Right.
running and not noticing.
Oh, I like that.
So let's see if, and then you would have to physically move it, right? Or it would go away after the next day.
Hers is already set to that, though, the persistent. So,
It's already set to persistent and it goes away.
yeah.
No,
Yes, sir.
that's why it's so persistent.
Not very
Temporary.
persistent. Show things always.
Do you scroll down from the top to see your notification?
Sometime.
Do you have a watch, an iWatch?
No.
Okay.
All right, well,
Anybody else have any suggestions? We're not doing too well today.
Do you set your,
Is that the second phone?
do you have your calendar on a Mac also?
yes.
In the Mac on the calendar, you can put in more than one alert. You can put in multiple alerts for an event. I don't think you can do it on iOS, but you can in the Mac. And then it will transfer over to the iOS device.
All right,
You have your Mac synced to your,
yes,
okay,
okay. I didn't know that, thank you.
all right.
So Jerry is saying do it on the Mac and then it will,
And it will carry over.
right.
Hopefully. Okay. Now, this one I think is yours, Mitch, right?
Yeah,
Okay. This is, Marty, this is your question. Invitations to meeting after hacking.
no.
That's Mary.
Mine-
That's Mary who took care of it.
Oh, we took care
Mine
of it.
is,
Tell us what you did.
Well, the invitations from the NMUG group come from MailChimp. So when you change your email address, we have to be notified, and then we go in and change it for you. You can't change that address yourself.
Okay, so the answer basically to the question is,
Right, then.
if you change your email address, whether you're hacked or not, you still need to let Marty know. Okay, so he can correct the address on his MailChimp.
So you can write to secretary@naplesmug.com or admin@naplesmug.com, and then we'll take care of the change.
Okay, this one is Bill's. Move the cursor in the text box. Let me, you that, let's see, well, I don't have my,
If you open up a
I'm just going to do a text box to show you how to do that. How I do it, I don't know if that's correct. Okay, here's, let me add a text box here. No, we want to, let's see. Trying to find out where to do that on this. Go fast.
It doesn't have to be in a text box,
Okay.
just any way you can move it laterally.
Well, if here's a text box right here, okay? And I'm typing in this text box, just all kinds of letters, and then it gets to the end, and then it scrolls around, right?
Right.
And what you want to do is you want it to go bigger, right?
I want to I want to move the cursor to the right so I can see what I have shoved out of sight.
But you're not making it out of sight in there, it just keeps on making your box bigger.
Well, the only thing that you can do is you can go out of writing the text and move the box.
Well, I'm filling out a form. I don't have the ability to change the box. And so I'm filling out a form, typing, and it displaces
Goes off
to the right.
Right.
But I want to correct something. How do I move the cursor to the right?
On your iPad, Bill,
Yes.
you put your finger wherever you want it and touch it.
But it's to the right. It's out of sight.
Not a second.
I can't put my finger on it.
Yes.
I use a Logitech, Bob Kelly, I use a Logitech keyboard, and the keyboard allows me to space
Yeah.
to the end of the text box, the hidden part.
Okay, that's a different kind of keyboard than
Right.
on there. So,
All these keyboards act a little differently. But-
well, he doesn't, you don't do this on a separate keyboard, right? You're doing it right on the iPad.
Right.
Yes.
If you increase the height of the text box, the wraparound should show down below, just do a wraparound.
You can't do that.
If you have wraparound on.
But he can't move the text box, that's what he's saying.
Filling out a form.
You should be able to change the size. You have controls on the text box to change the size.
You do there, but not on the form he's doing.
See, there's a problem. Here, you can move the text box, or you can change the size of it.
He's working on a form.
Right, but he's working on some place where he can't control the size of the text box. So I don't know the answer to that, other than what I'm showing you here.
Okay, create a new text box. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
Reduce the font.
what kind of keyboard are you using?
He's using
The
the
iPad.
virtual keyboard.
Okay, so Bob Kelly said that you can solve the problem if you had with a Logitech keyboard, correct?
Right.
Bob?
Yes, what I use when I'm doing a lot of typing, I use a keyboard. And the Logitech allows me to work a little bit better. The tactile allows me to type.
I don't know, this is not a good day
Would
here.
you have- Bill, do you have a Bluetooth keyboard at home?
I do, but I was at my daughter's. I don't.
Oh,
Bill, just bring it over to my place, we'll take it.
Well, don't do that at your daughter's house. Okay, next question. How to use screen mirror on your smart TV?
You want to show photos, for example, on the.
From your iPad or
Yes.
your iPhone?
iPad, for example.
Okay, well, the first thing you do is you get the control center up. You see on the right there?
Yes,
You
yes.
know how to get to the control center?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then
I see screen mirroring there.
tap on screen mirroring, and do you have now you have a smart TV, but you don't have an Apple TV.
No. But I have an HDMI adapter, I can.
Well, can't you, then if you have an HDMI, can't you just plug it right into that? Into the back of your TV?
You can, yes.
That would be the only, if you have an Apple TV, you can screen mirror. But if you don't have it, then I think you have to hardwire, tell me if I'm wrong, you have to hardwire it with an HDMI cable into the back of your TV from your iPad.
And directly, it
And then
connects
you-
directly to your iPad.
Yeah.
Right, and then you should get instructions on your TV of what to do.
Yeah.
Am I correct there?
And the other thing is, do you have, is it a Samsung TV?
Yes, it is.
All right, there's a Samsung app, which is called, hold on a second. Let's start off this way. Samsung app is called. I want to say SmartCast, but I think that's the video app. There's a Samsung app that will let you, it lets it behave, I think it's called Media Share.
Media share.
Yeah.
Okay.
That will let you, it acts like an Apple TV from the smart TV to your device.
Uh-huh.
You screen mirror to it.
Okay.
Cool.
So when you see,
I just
Smart on TV.
spoke, you know, plugged in on your app thing, and it shows, I don't see that title. It says Samsung Connect app, smart home, or smart
It might be the Connect app.
and then there's a TV remote, but that would just be controlling it, right?
No,
So it would be the Connect app?
I think so.
Thank
If
you.
if it's not that one, it's the other one. You just look at it and read it and go.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
and then it should show up right there where it says George's, it should show up just like that.
Okay.
The better solution is buy an Apple TV. You're not.
I know. Can you say it one more time? Because I was
I will have to
busy.
post an answer because it didn't work.
Okay. So look on the discussion group for the answer about how to subscribe to a calendar,
To our calendar.
to the NMUG calendar. Okay,
From an iPad.
okay. Now, the contrast on the background. We would go to settings, general. Okay, and you're talking about accessibility?
Yes, you go to accessibility, and it says reduce transparency, but it doesn't seem to do very much.
Under which,
She already
You
did.
go to
both.
accessibility, and then it gives you two options, reduce transparency and darken colors. I've done both, but it doesn't seem to do very much. So I've used the bold letters, and it does help for anything that I input in bold, but the rest is still kind of soft.
And you try and you did increase contrast.
It didn't do very much increase in the contrast. I still
all
have a
right,
very
let
bright
me just do it
background.
so you, okay, increase, didn't do much there, did it?
Yeah. Do you see any difference in yours?
A little bit,
Yeah.
darken colors.
It won't mirror.
Oh, it won't mirror anyway, so.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at my, iPad and I'm not seeing any change.
Neither do I. Excellent. I'll keep continuing with the bold.
Yeah, first, I would suggest Googling it to see if somebody else has an idea. Anybody here have an idea? I think we got one question answered. I'm not coming back. Okay.
Started from many to many.
All right, let's, I'm going to do the notes first, and then I'm going to go back and demonstrate on the phone, okay? So that we don't have to keep switching back and forth. The first thing I wanted to do is, at 1 o'clock today, is going to be the 1 o'clock Eastern Time, 10 o'clock Pacific Time. Tim Cook from Apple is going to do his presentation on what's new, and possibly the new iPhones coming up, and information about iOS 12, which is the next operating system for the phone and iPad, and Mojave, which is the new operating system for the computer. And since this is an iOS meeting, I wanted to just give you a list of the things. I know Mitch has been working with iOS 12, and I had a meeting with Jeff Boy the other day, and he's been working with it. He likes it very much. And see, these are some of the things that, that were mentioned. Let me go back here. He says it's much faster. Now, I will say this, there are a few of these upgrades for iOS 12 that do not work on all of them work on the 6 and up and the 5S. But there are a couple that don't work on the 5S and the 6, and I don't know them off the top of my head, but I would say 95% of these work on all those phones and higher. So faster speed, you can, in FaceTime, you can simultaneously have 32 participants. You can also hear the audio of the FaceTime on your watch and your HomePod. There's a thing called focus view for the person who's speaking. That's where the picture goes. Some new emoji things, self-emoji, there's more things you can do with that, and also some new animals. Augmented Reality AR Kit 2. This is the virtual reality thing, you know, where like you go to a home furniture sale place, and then you can place the furniture in your living room or whatever, sort of like a 3D look. And there's a new Measure app coming where you can use your phone to measure distances, which I think is really neat. There's under notifications, which we went to just briefly, you can group your mailboxes by app, and you can have more management of your notifications. And you can turn off your notifications except for critical alerts, like, God forbid, Hurricane Florence, right? We don't even want to think about that. It just brings back bad memories. But so that's another way you can manage notifications. As a better management of Do Not Disturb, you can have a temporary Do Not Disturb. You can have automatically ending Do Not Disturbs. You can have it related to location or calendar. Also, upgrades for photos. It's called Photos for You tab, and there's also a multi-keyword search. Like if you have more than one keyword, you can do it that way. The portrait mode for lighting on the camera has been improved. And you know that little QR reader, that little square reader, they've improved that. It worked most of the time, but not always. There's also a new way to do shortcuts with a new app, which would probably be similar to what our guest is going to be speaking about with her app. There are new sticker packs for iMessage to enhance photos and videos and messages. Better privacy on tracking. iBooks is now going to become Apple Books, and it's going to be redesigned. And here's one that a lot of people are going to be happy about that, and it's voice memos for your iPad. Currently, they're only on the iPhone. The Apple News app is going to be updated. For CarPlay, they're going to allow some third-party apps if you have CarPlay in your car.
That's a real big deal, because if you have CarPlay in your car, you're going to be able now to use Google Maps. And
Waze.
And Waze, yes.
And Waze, and if you, prior to that, it would be like, it was like $499 for 18 months for Google Maps. So this is a real plus.
Siri is adding more things: food, motorsports, celebrity fans, photo search, more languages. Also, there's going to be a contactless student ID card if you guys are going to FGCU as a student or something, or Florida Southwestern, so you can just take your phone or iWatch and get into your building and into your dorm. I don't know how many of you are going to be doing that. Let's see, more battery information. It'll tell you about the last 24 hours or the last 10 days. And then some password autofill, some strong passwords can be generated under iOS 12. Also, Jeff told me the other day that when you go into an app that where you put your 1Password in, they now have an option where you can tap it instead of having to go into 1Password. A redesigned Stocks app and a new iPad gestures. And then if you download this, I sent it out yesterday in the discussion group. If you download it, you can see at the bottom I have the website from Apple where I got all this information. So I don't know how all these things work, but I'm sure in the next couple of months, Mitch, you're going to do some work on this when you have your class?
Yeah, the second Tuesday in October, or second Wednesday in October, I'll be going over a lot of this stuff. But I was just going to say, I've been working on the beta for since July. I like it quite a bit, and I'll say about the beta, usually it's pretty buggy, and this has been, because I've done this every year for several years, and this has been the least buggy betas that I've worked with.
Yeah, that's what Jeff said too.
And I would think that after this is out, some people hesitate, when's it safe to upgrade? I would think that when this is out for a week or so to the public, it'll be safe to upgrade to. And if you want to see how to use some of these things, the best place to do it is to go to YouTube's and put in iOS 12, and you'll see hundreds of videos. And what I always do is select the ones that are viewed the most often. You see one that's only had 1,000 views, and you see one that's had 3,000 or 300,000 views. The one you want to look at is the one with 300,000. And I'm sure that Apple will have some posted in the next few days.
Yeah, I would definitely try to, even though you might not be accessible at 1 o'clock, that thing will be recorded. And I sent out a notice yesterday, or this morning actually, and you can watch it on your iPhone, iPad, at any time today after the meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Marilyn, you said which versions of iPhone it would work on.
Right.
Will it work on all versions of the iPad mini, or just, to be able to update to it? Do you know? Jeff told me the answer to that question, and I didn't bring the paper with me today. It does not work with very old versions, but it does work with some newer ones. If you just give me your email address after the class today, I will email you the answer to that. Thank you.
Also, we are going to be doing 2 classes on this during our spring class sessions at Hodges, or we think Hodges. So if you would be interested in more in-depth stuff, besides what Mitch can give you on Wednesdays, plan on signing up for those classes. Anything more on iOS 12?
Well, I have an older iPad mini. It's been for years. Mine's still stuck on version 9. So if you have an old iPad mini.
I doubt it if you have an old iPad mini. And I know for the iPads, you have to have an iPad Air 1 and above. I probably should put this out on the discussion group. I'll send it out on the discussion group, and then you all can look at it, okay?
I actually think it's out there, but...
You can Google it, but I will send it out on the discussion group, because Jeff gave me all that information, and I didn't bring the paper with me. I'm sorry about that. Okay. I want to talk about groups in contacts. I was trying to teach my husband how to do this. And there's just one thing that people have trouble with when you're trying to form groups, when you're trying to use groups on your phone or your iPad. And that is, you always have to tap done all the time. So that's why I have it in red. What is the advantage of having groups? One is if you have a lot of contacts. If you have groups and you want to get to somebody's contact quickly, you can go to their group, and it's a lot easier to get there because you only have the group names in there. You don't have this huge list. Yes?
Well, I have one issue with that. Pardon me, I form a group, put the contacts into the group, and I can select only that group of contacts come up. I now want to send a group email. I still have to select each name individually. I cannot select the entire group on there.
No, the way you do it, when you go to email and you have the little plus sign there,
Yeah.
you put the name of the group in, and all of the names will appear in
That
email.
happens on the Mac, but I'll try it out.
Okay, you say it doesn't work on the iPad?
Yes.
I have to check, let me check what you said.
Yeah, but the trick is you put when you make a new group, you have to give it a name. So you don't put select the people and then try to do an email. You don't do it that way. You go in and you put the name of the group, and then those people should all fill into the to line. Am I correct on that, Jerry?
Yeah, what you do is in the to field or the CC field or the BCC field, you type in the name of the group. You will be displayed all the names. Tap on that and that will populate that area.
Right. So try it on your iPad or your iPhone. Yes.
Marilyn, I'm looking at that as we speak, and I have a group called Family, and for Carly, she has 3 email addresses. So it's automatically putting in all 3 of her email addresses, and I would only want to use one of them.
But that's because you didn't pick one of them when you made the group.
Right.
All 3 of them.
I just put her name in the
Right.
group, and
You
it,
have to pick the email and put it in the group.
okay, thank you.
Okay, now, most importantly, you cannot create a new group on your iPhone or your iPad. You have to create it either on iCloud.com, on your computer, or use a third-party app. I would tell you that it's really easy on iCloud.com if you don't have a computer, or I went in and I bought Groups, and I'll show it to you later, but it's not a really great app, but you can create a group. So if you're the kind of person that doesn't have a computer or you don't want to deal with that, it will create a group for the free version of the app. And if you want to do more stuff, you have to buy more stuff to do it. But I went on iCloud.com. I found that really easy to do. Now, if you're in a group and you want to get to all contacts, or you're somewhere else and you want to get to all contacts, that means your whole list. What you need to do is you need to tap on Show All Contacts. If it says Hide All Contacts, that means you got them all there, okay? But the most important thing, and this is I think where people get stuck, is after you hit Show All Contacts, you have to hit Done. And if you don't hit Done, it's not going to happen. Now, if you want to find a group, you tap Groups in your contacts, you tap Hide All Contacts, then you tap the desired group that you want, and then you tap Done. Now, I will tell you that sometimes you can skip tap Hide All Contacts. sometimes you can just, at least on my phone, I don't know if it works on other phones. Sometimes if I just tap the group I want, it will get rid of the rest of the check marks. But just as a general practice, you tap groups, you tap hide all groups, you tap the group you want, and then you tap done. Then that should give you a list of all the people in the group. And then you just tap on their name. And then it should come up with their, and I'll do it for you in a minute. Yes?
If I select two groups and George's name is in both groups, will he get two emails?
He'll get one.
He'll get one?
He'll get one. Okay, great.
I didn't know that either. Thank you, Jerry. He'll get one group, even if you tap two groups.
Assuming the email is the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, once you're in the person's contact, and you want to go back to all contacts from there, you tap contacts up in the left corner, up here. If you're on your iPad, you don't need to do that. You just need to do groups. The reason is because on the iPad, let me show you. Where are my contacts? Okay. I'm going to go to Roots, okay? And if you see there's no contacts up there because the groups stay on the screen. On your phone, the groups don't stay on the screen. So you have to go back to, you have to do contacts, then you have to do groups, and then, so that's why I put there on the phone only. If you're doing this on your iPad, your groups stay visible on the left side. There's two panels. Okay, if you want to go to a different group, suppose I've selected this group here, and you want to change to a different group, you tap your new group, and then, so your check mark shows up, and then you take that group, and you tap it, and the check mark will go away. Yes?
Now, why do you search within a group? Why don't you search by the person's name?
You could do that.
I have all my groups shown all the time. I'm trying to understand why you try to go with individual groups.
Well, if you have a bridge group and you want to change partners, you have to eliminate one and not eliminate the other. So you go to the group, take that person out of that group, and you add a new one.
You can delete, you can take a person out of a group in your iPad?
No.
Sure.
You can, well, you can take them out of the group, but I don't think you can, I think you'll delete them
Yeah.
from your contacts.
Or down to the contacts.
I have another page I want to show you, and then we'll talk about it. Okay. If you want to add a new contact, you can do that on your phone and your iPad. Okay? You select the group, you tap Done, tap the plus sign, tap in the, and then you'll get a new blank contact sheet. You tap in the information, you tap Done, then you tap Contacts and Group, and you'll see it in the new group. You don't have to do contacts if you're on an iPad, just if you're on the phone. Now, if you want to add, and I tried this 10 times, and I was never able to delete a contact from a group on my phone or my iPad without losing the contact. So maybe there's a way, but I don't know how to do it. I tried it over and over to make sure. But the easiest way to do it is to go to iCloud.com, select all contacts. There'll be two panels. On the left will be your groups, and on the right will be all your contacts, okay? You locate the contact and you just drag it over to the group on the left, and it will add right into that group. Now, there's probably a way to do it on your iPad. I think you could do it similar on your iPad, because you do have both panels working. I don't know how to do it on your phone. I didn't really try that, but I'm not positive how to do it on your phone. If you want to delete somebody from a group, you select this is on iCloud.com. You select the name, you tap edit, you scroll down, you tap delete at the bottom of the page, and your contacts should still remain in your contacts list, but not in the group. That's what I learned. So if you find a way to delete from your iPad or your iPhone, let me know, but I could not find a way. So if you want to delete somebody from a group, and you don't want to delete them from contacts, I would go to iCloud.com to do it as the easiest way. You can probably do it on your computer too, the same way. But it's so easy and so clear on iCloud.com. And if you want to add a new contact or a new group on iCloud.com, there's a plus sign at the bottom of the page to do that. So check that out. Okay. And I'm going to show you the widgets when we get to the phone, so I don't really need to show you this. Now, we're going to try to do the phone here. I'm going to go back to the beginning of the slide so I have something to refer to. And I'm going to unmirror this. Okay, so here I am in contacts, and I want to go to groups, so I'm going to tap on groups up in the left corner. And it says hide all contacts. So that means I've got all the contacts up. Okay. If I want to go to a group, I'm going to tap on hide all contacts, or I could just tap on the group. You see how all the check marks went away? And there's one check mark. So that's the group I want to go to. I'm just going to tap on it. Oops, didn't go. Oh, what did I forget?
Done. Hey, Bill.
There you go. See how easy, so easy to make that mistake? Right, okay. And then if I wanted to go to somebody's there, I could do that, okay? And you do have a search bar up at the top there. So so in case you go to an individual from the group, and I want to go back now to all my contacts, I tap contacts in the top left. Then I can tap groups back there. Now, I want to go to all my contacts. So what do I do? Show all contacts, and done. So the part you always forget is the done part, because you think it's going to go automatically to do that. Go back to all contacts from name, go to a different group. Okay, I'm going to go to hide all contacts, and I'm going to go to this group. And then I just went to the NMUG group, and then I'm going to go to the test group. So now I've got two groups up there, and so if I hit done, they will both show. But if I want to get rid of the NMUG group, I just tap on it, and the check mark will go away, and then I've got my test group there. Okay, any questions on that? Now, if you're in your home page on your phone, and you want to see, does everybody know what a widget is? No, okay, we're going to look at the widgets. If you're on your phone, you'll notice at the very bottom, And you can do this on your iPad too. At the very bottom, you see these little dots, and you see your home page is on the second dot. So if you scroll from right to left, you can see the widgets. And I have, here's my calendars up there, and reminding me to make a dinner reservation. And these are some suggestions of places that I've used lately I could go to. And I like this for batteries, because when I'm using my phone, it has this little thing up here in the corner, right there.
Yeah.
I can't tell how much battery that is, it's so little. So I just switch over to the left side to the widget, and it tells me the exact percentage I have, which lets me know where I need to go. And it has a tips thing. Now, if I tap on some of these, like the calendar and the dinner reservation, that's a reminder, and the calendar is actually my calendar. But Tips is an app, and if I tap on Tips, it'll take me to the Tips app, and you notice there are several tips here that I can look at. So if you have an app there, on my iPad, I have Epicurious, which is an app I have, with recipes and stuff. And I'll go to my widgets every day, and I'll see what kind of recipe they have. And if it looks good, I'll tap it, and it'll take me right to Epicurious to that recipe. So that's kind of fun. There I have I don't know where I saw this. Somewhere on the internet. I was on the internet somewhere. I was looking for a recipe for something, and they found the steak sauce. But this will take me to my notes, to that particular recipe, but it also takes me back to my notes here. So it takes you directly back to your app that you want to use. Now, if I want to change what's there, I hit edit, and these are all the things that I have on my widgets now. Calendar up next, which is reminders, some series app suggestions, and these are places that I go often, so it's giving me that information. Batteries, tips, weather, and notes. Now, if I scroll down, and I can rearrange them too, I could change, you see the three little lines on the right? It's kind of pale on here, but see the three little lines here?
Yeah.
Okay, if you put your finger there and hold it, you should be able to move it. It's not moving. There it is. Okay. So I just changed the order of where my widgets are. And if I want to take one away, like, I think I'll take the notes away, so I'll hit the minus sign, and it says remove, so I remove it, and it goes down here. And if I want to add it back, I hit the plus sign, and it'll go back up to the top, where these are the ones that show when you go to widgets, and these are all the ones you can put in there if you want.
Is there a quantity?
I think there is. It used to be you could only put there were only 5 choices. Now there's a bazillion. So, see if Epicurious is in here. It's not. Oh, because I don't have it on my phone. But if you wanted to get to mail quickly, you could put your mail in there if you want it. It's so easy to move it up from the bottom of the screen that I don't think it's an issue. But that's all the ones of the, and now yours might be different because you might have different apps on your phone. If you don't have that app on your phone, it's not going to appear in widgets. And then you hit done. And did my notes come back? No.
Yeah.
question about the adding a name to your group. If there are multiple email addresses, if you just select a name from your contacts, do you get a chance to select which email you're going to send it to?
Marty,
Yes,
how do you do that?
just pick the email that you want. When you have the name, you can add the name or you can add the email.
But when you're adding one, can you go to your contacts and add a name? Does it then give you the choice of the emails?
Yes.
He says yes.
Okay.
But do it on your
You have to do
computer
it on your computer
or iCloud.com, and then you know, don't try to do it on here. It's possible to do it, but I would say anytime you want to add or delete, it's much safer to do it on your computer or iCloud.com. Yes?
Now, you showed us how to edit these on our phone. Does that sync with your iPad?
No.
Doesn't appear to.
Your iPad has its own set of widgets.
Yeah.
And the reason is because your iPad may not have the same apps as your iPhone. So this is all of these widgets, except for Siri suggestions, come from and the reminders, you know, things that are basic apps that are always on your phone and your iPad. Other apps like weather and notes and Epicurious or whatever else you have on there will be dependent upon what you have on your iPad. So I have a different set of widgets on my iPad than I have on my phone, because I never read the recipes on my phone. I like to read them on my iPad. So I don't have Epicurious on my phone. Now some people just have a phone or just have an iPad, you know, but they do not sync like other things. Okay, I think our time is up. Now remind me, I have to send out which phones and which iPads.
Here are matches for which.
Don't worry.
Which phones and which iPads can use iOS 12, right?
Right.
Okay, anything else?
Thank you.
Bravo.